Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my 21 brother 24 with his kid 5 during a medical emergency? So, my brother and I don't have a relationship. Cut him off when I was in high school after one day I came home early and saw that my brother and my girlfriend were doing the deed on our couch. Since then, I've seen myself without a brother. I've held this conviction for the last few years. He has tried to get me to forgive him as we've gotten older and had apologized, but I refuse to forgive him. I avoid him at family function, and if he tried to speak to me, I pretend he doesn't exist. My family has tried to get me to forgive him, but I always say it's his fault it's like this, not mine. A few nights ago at around 2 in the morning, I get a random call from an unknown number. It's him, and is begging me to drive 45 minutes from my dorm to his house so I can watch his kid. His wife was having a heart attack. It was just angina, and he needed someone to watch him while he goes to the hospital. I asked him how he got my number, and he said that our mom had given it to him while she was away in case of emergency. I told him that I wasn't going. He begged me. He said he needed his brother's help. He said if I help him this once, he'll never talk to me again. I told him no, and that it wasn't my problem. He begged again, but I hung up and went back to bed. Come morning, my phone is full of texts from my sister and my mom telling me how awful I am. My brother had to call up our sister and left his 5-year-old alone for 3 hours while he was at a hospital. They all told me I was awful and petty for holding a grudge this long. I feel I did nothing wrong. He betrayed me first, and these are the consequences of his actions. Am I the a-hole? Now let's read the top comments on this post. I'm going to go with not the a-hole. As it turns, in case of emergency, you can in fact wake a kid up and bring them with you to the hospital. What you really can't do is wait 45 minutes for the babysitter to show up if you think someone is having a heart attack, or leave a 5-year-old alone for 5 hours. Actually, thanks to you-know-what, hospitals do not allow children to visit. Depends on the locale then. Here, I've had parents bring a kid beyond a patient to the ER. Also, surprise, in the ER when there's concern of heart attack or stroke, you don't get to go in with them past the waiting room. Worst case scenario, OP's brother drops mom off and sits in the car with a tyke. There are better ideas than leaving the kid home alone. Not stay home. He left his 5-year-old alone for 3 hours? Why? Why was that his only option? Have you been their secret plan in case of emergencies this whole time? Your brother and his wife sound so negligent. Agree. As a parent, that's just ridiculous. The wife could have taken an ambulance alone. You don't leave a 5-year-old alone, especially for that long. Not stay home. You live 45 minutes away. You weren't the person to call regardless of the status of your relationship with your brother. Even if you'd be willing and got up and gone there immediately, what was he gonna do with a kid for those 45 minutes? And that's 45 minutes just for the actual driving. You couldn't have been there in less than an hour. Why is this not the top comment? If the brother's wife was actually having a heart attack, she didn't have 45 to 60 minutes to wait for OP to arrive. Next story. Am I the a-hole for uninviting my cousins from my wedding for feeding info to my mom? I, 28 male, am an only child. When I was 12, my parents divorced when my dad found out my mom cheated on him. This was devastating to my dad. My parents were best friends and started dating when they were 17. I played sports and my dad was my coach, so I had a much closer relationship to him than my mom. I was supposed to spend 1 week at my mom's, then the next week at my dad's, but I would usually just lock myself in my room at my mom's. Usually, my dad would drop me off and I would get on my bike and ride a couple miles back to his house. My mom would ask me things, and I would literally pretend like she didn't exist. It got so bad lawyers got involved thinking my dad was turning me against my mom. My dad encouraged me to spend time with my mom, but I couldn't. My mom tried putting us in therapy, but I would just sit there till the time was up not saying a word to her. Eventually, my mom broke down and let me just live with my dad. I haven't spoken a word to my mom in 15 years. She would show up to my games alone. Sometimes I would ask my dad to tell her to leave. Sometimes I didn't even notice she was there. She would try to talk to me after, and I would walk right past her. I cut her whole family off besides a few of my cousins that were around my age. She showed up to my high school graduation, and I asked a couple teachers to remove her, and they did. She never dated anyone else to my knowledge, and was still attempting to reconcile with my dad a few years before he passed. calling it the biggest mistake of her life and begging my dad to forgive her. When my dad passed a couple years ago, she tried to show up to the funeral at a metro outside to ask her to leave. My fiancé Rachel was with me when I did this, and my mom cried upon learning we were engaged. Rachel introduced herself as my fiancé, saying she couldn't believe I hated her still this many years later. So last week I received a letter from my mom with a large check inside. In the letter, she said she couldn't live knowing she wouldn't be invited to her only child's wedding, that her whole family's hurt that I cut them off, and that she had been keeping tabs on me all these years through my cousin's updates out of respect for me, but couldn't handle not being at the wedding. I ripped the check up and sent it back to the return address. She shouldn't have even known my address, as I keep her blocked on all social media. So I called up my cousins, who admitted that since I was 14, they have been providing my mom with updates on me. Prom pictures, college updates, engagement photos, and they sent her my address. I was so mad that I told them they wouldn't be invited to the wedding anymore because I don't want my mom getting access to it. Rachel is saying I'm going too far now, and uninviting my cousins along with freezing out my mom's whole family because of her actions is an a-hole move. Am I the a-hole? Edit. The cheating was with a teammate's dad. This was highly embarrassing for me and caused me to have to move towns. Caused me to lose friends. Now for the top comments. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're the a-hole. Acting out as a 12-year-old is to be expected. Deciding not to ever forgive your mom is totally right. Though it was 16 years ago and you, while affected, were not really the aggrieved party. The fact that you were still throwing tantrums like a 12-year-old at the age of 28 makes you the a-hole. Edit. I'd even go so far as to say your fiancé should consider this a pretty serious red flag. The fact that you can act with such hatred and spite over something that happened over 16 years ago, that only peripherally involved you, to me shows a pretty serious character flaw. At the very least, she should be concerned about what it would take for you to direct that anger at her, and what form that anger would take. For the edit, that's exactly what I thought. Being engaged to someone so unforgiving and showing so little empathy, even to their own mother, would scare the heck out of me. I would advise her to run. Go to therapy and unpack this. This is a pathological level of hatred. Unless your mom literally told you to your face that she regretted ever having you with your dad and kicked your dog as part of the divorce. I don't think people have to let go of anger and forgive every single slight. But you weren't even the one cheated on. And it sounds like she tried to do everything right by you. See, I am the first person to advocate no contact if you have to. Because some parents aren't much more than DNA donors, and some are worse than that. But OP is taking this so personally, for over 15 years and letting the anger drive their familial relationships away. That's very sad. I've been reading through the replies and struggling with it for this reason. I'm no contact from my family, but it feels like there are either tons of info missing or their attitude is unfounded. If my parents had ever reached out in a sincere way, like showing up to events or writing a letter, then I would give them a chance, after making sure that I'm not hallucinating the whole thing. First off, I'm so sorry for what you've been through. Dealing with your mom's cheating and your parents' divorce had to be hard and traumatic. I'm also sorry for your loss of your father. But I gotta ask, when is it gonna be enough? Your mom lived most of her life with the loss of her husband and her son. She lost everything. After all this time, when is it gonna be enough? Are you really going to grow old and die with that pain and anger? You're not free. You don't have to accept your mistakes, but you need to forgive. This was between your parents. I know firsthand what you're going through. Go to your mom. Tell her how you feel. You owe it to yourself. I've come to peace with never seeing or speaking to her again. I was fine till my cousins did what they did. It's not some lifetime punishment. She made her choices. She cheated on our family. She could have started another if she really cared about having a family. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my brother the truth that it was our parents' fault our relationship was so strained? So, my younger brother Matt never had the best relationship with me or my younger sister growing up. The reasons for this are because of my parents and their mistreatment of me and my sister, and their use of him as an excuse for it. I'm 9 years older than Matt and my sister is 8. Matt has a form of high-functioning autism. We've known this since he was about 2 years old. Ever since my parents found this out, they have used him as an excuse to avoid any responsibilities and gain as much sympathy and handouts as possible, claiming that caring for Matt was a massive job that took their attention 24/7. A big aspect of this was that they proceeded to neglect me and my sister at every available opportunity. They never once attended anything for me or sister. They refused to be there in any aspect, emotionally or physically, for either of us. The truth about it, though, was Matt required nowhere near the amount of attention that they claimed. He had no behavior issues once he entered into elementary school and was very self-sufficient. Yet, my parents would use him as an excuse for everything, even once refusing to pick my sister up when she was abandoned by friends almost 20 miles away, claiming Matt needed them here when he was fast asleep. We also both went through massive depressive bouts, and were told by our parents that they did not have time for our problems because of Matt. Towards the end of my time living with my parents, my extended family slowly began to cut my parents out once they learned the extent of their lies regarding Matt. Suffice to say, this destroyed our relationship with Matt. For a long time, me and sister despised him. Even today, our sister outright refuses to talk to him or our parents, only communicating with me. I myself am on low contact with the parents as well, but I realized long ago that Matt was blameless in the situation, and taking out my anger towards my parents on him was wrong. So around the time he entered college, I reached out and started a relationship with him. Out of nowhere though, Matt asked me recently why me and my sister were so cold to him growing up. Neither me or sister ever told him the truth, and seeing as he's an adult now, I decided he deserved the answer. I told him that our parents are narcissists and exploited his autism as an excuse to neglect me and sister. I told him about how they left sister 20 miles from home at night with no way home and used him as an excuse. He became very livid about this and apparently confronted our parents about this. My parents have lost their minds now, accusing me of trying to ruin their relationship with Matt and claiming that I am nothing more than an entitled brat. Sister as well has begun blowing me up, claiming that I need to stop opening old wounds and drop contact altogether or stop involving her in this. Now for the comments. Not a-hole. I have no sympathy for your parents. Continue to cut them off. If you did it just to cause a rift, then you would be the a-hole. But I think it was probably very helpful to Matt. You probably spent a lot of time wondering what he did wrong, or what was wrong with him that his siblings hated him. Knowing that it was not about him or something he had done will probably go a long way about making him feel happier and more confident in general. I agree. Maybe he wasn't mistreated to the same extent as his siblings, but his parents used him as a pawn, lied to him, degraded him, and ruined his relationship with his siblings. He's a victim too, and deserved to know the truth. You don't owe it to your parents to keep whom they hurt and how a secret. Your sister's right that it's long been time to go full no contact. Not a-hole. He deserved to know the truth, and your parents deserve to be exposed for how they handled things. Your parents need to take responsibility for the outcome of their mistakes. Using his disability as an excuse to treat other people poorly is wrong. Not a-hole. It was a good thing you told Matt the truth, because he deserves to know his parents for the neglectful narcissist they are. Keep trying to build a relationship with him and keep low/no contact with your parents. As far as your sister goes, try to have a conversation with her if she's willing to, but don't try and push her to foster a relationship with Matt. But you really should cut off your parents because it doesn't benefit you to keep them in your life at all. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not lying about thinking the way my sister met her fiancé was not funny and cute? I'm 19 female, my sister is 21. She's engaged to a guy I haven't met too many times because of the pandemic and both of us going to school in different countries. Just once on my sister's birthday and once on Christmas. He is 30 or 31. Every interaction I've ever had with him has been fine, but brief. On New Year's Eve, my sister's fiancé was working, so she came to a party my aunt threw. At one point, one of my older relatives asked how they met and my sister told them the story, which is basically that my sister was driving in front of him, and I guess she wasn't going fast enough, so he started driving really aggressively, tried to pass her on a double yellow, and ended up causing a fender bender trying to avoid getting hit by oncoming traffic. When she gets out of her car, he starts screaming at her and berating her. She starts crying. He feels bad, asks her out on a date and tells her he'll pay for everything. Deductible, repairs. He even said he'd pay for the first year of payments if she needs a new car. He's loaded. She took him up on a date, and the rest is history. So this is where might be the a-hole, and what I'm asking for your judgment on. After she was done, one of my cousins was like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a cute story, Opie. Isn't that so funny?" So while I would never tell her my opinion unsolicited, I also didn't want to lie. And I didn't want my 16-year-old cousin who was also there to think anything about this was cute or funny. So I told the truth and said I thought it was a little alarming, and that I hoped this road rage was a one-time thing. One of my aunts agreed with me, and I made sure to add that I'm sure it was a one-time thing, because whenever I met him, he seemed very pleasant, and my sister was clearly very happy, and the conversation moved on. Later on, my mom said that I should have just lied and said the story was cute, or just laughed and said, "yeah," or something. I told her I felt uncomfortable lying, and that I did think the story was alarming, and had my sister told me that story at any other time, I would have said the same. My mom said I caused a scene and embarrassed my sister and that I'm the a-hole here. I don't think I caused a scene, but I did answer the question honestly. Am I the a-hole for not lying and saying the story was cute? Note, I'm not trying to break any rules here, so I want to make it clear I'm not looking for relationship advice of any kind. I'm specifically looking if I'm an a-hole for responding the way I did. Not the a-hole. It's not a cute story. He could have fatally harmed someone and yelled at her like a psycho. You shouldn't have lied about it. Agreed. When will this cliché bad boy romanticization end? No, definitely not the a-hole OP. Do not feed that myth that reckless psychos with anger issues are sweet teddy bears deep down. It's not a cute story. It's an inability to control his anger, which may end up bad for your sister. Additionally, he's a lot older than she is. At 21, she's only starting life, and is well into his. Yikes all the way around. Not stay home. Not stay home. If someone had caused an accident through reckless driving and then screamed at me, I would have called the police on him, but not taken him for coffee. Your sister has a weird taste in men. Edit. And of course, you need not have pretended to like the story. It was not a major issue. Didn't cause a scene, and maybe your sister will observe his behavior a little more closely in future.
My husband wanted a divorce until he lost his job. Am I the a-hole to follow through with filing? My husband, 34 male, and I, 38 female, have been married for 6 years and together for 9. Like most couples, we've had our ups and downs, but the biggest ongoing issue in our marriage has been the way he speaks to me. Words may not leave physical bruises, but over time, the constant disrespect chips away at a person, and that's exactly what has happened to me. A year ago, I gave birth to our son. It was a huge adjustment for me, navigating postpartum recovery, caring for a newborn, balancing work, and raising my 4 children, 3 of whom are still minors. I was only 10 months postpartum when my husband started calling me fat and lazy. According to him, all I did was take care of the baby and go to work. I was still carrying baby weight, exhausted from juggling multiple responsibilities, and working a full 40-hour week. His words cut deeply, especially because he showed no empathy for everything I was shouldering. Things escalated on my birthday. Instead of celebrating, he demanded that I not leave the house that day, or he would divorce me. Ironically, I had to take my daughter to an appointment at UCLA for her teeth that morning. It wasn't even about me, just parenting responsibilities. When I came back, he didn't acknowledge me at all. He didn't say happy birthday, didn't look at me, and instead shut himself in his game room. That night, he slept in there, and he hasn't come back to our bed since. It's been 2 months. During that time, he started telling everyone he was divorcing me. He even went so far as to consult an attorney before he ever said a word to me about it. To others, he painted me as undesirable. He told me I wasn't the prize, that I was pushing 40 with 4 kids, 3 still minors, and therefore lucky that he even stayed as long as he did. According to him, He is the real prize. In his prime, making good money, and convinced that any woman would love to be in my shoes and take care of his kids. To add insult to injury, he invited his ex, the mother of one of his kids, into our home while I was out, showing me just how little respect he had left for our marriage. Fast forward to recently, he lost his job. Suddenly his attitude shifted. The man who had been tearing me down and making it clear he wanted a divorce was now being polite, talking nicer, and acting like he wanted to make things work. But by then, I had already made up my mind. His actions showed me where I stood in his life. To me, it didn't feel like he truly wanted me. It felt like I was just his safest fallback option now that he had nothing else. When I told him I was still moving forward with separating, he immediately flipped the narrative. Now he's telling his family and friends that I'm a gold digger. According to him, I'm leaving because he lost his job, not because of the months of cruelty, disrespect, and humiliation he put me through. He tells people he wanted to fix our marriage and that I'm the one giving up. But the truth is, he initiated this when he treated me like I was disposable. I don't see it as me walking away out of convenience. I see it as me following through with what he started. He showed me repeatedly that I wasn't valued, that he didn't respect me as a wife or even as the mother of his children. Losing his job doesn't erase all of that. So am I really the a-hole for moving forward with separation after everything he put me through? Now for the top comments. He's realizing that nobody wants an unemployed jackass who verbally abuses his postpartum wife. Leave him and focus on creating a healthy life for yourself and your kids without his toxic behavior dragging you down. Exactly. He's just trying to save face now. She's already been through so much postpartum, a new baby, 4 kids, work, and his verbal abuse isn't acceptable. Leaving him is the right move for her and the kids. Wait, he brought his side piece, baby mama, to your house? Oh my god, girl. You are not the a-hole unless you stay with his class A clown. Lawyer up and get what's yours. Oh, he's spinning right now. He built up an idea in his head where he was the be-all end-all and just found out that he's just lucky. Now that he knows what he's actually worth, he wants to hold on to you, as you are better than him on his own. So narcissistic. Wow, nah, you're good. Not the a-hole. Just remember to tell everyone what a gold digger he is, and that he only wants you for security and money on your way out. 100% not the a-hole. Leave useless behind. Totally agree. He thought he was the catch, but now he's just scrambling. You're definitely not the a-hole for prioritizing yourself and your kids. Next story. Am I the a-hole for ruining my girlfriend's plans for when she goes into labor? A bit of backstory. My girlfriend is pregnant and due in September. In May, I found out she had started using nicotine pouches during her pregnancy. She had quit a year before. She promised me she would stop immediately, but a month later I found more boxes, used pouches in her bags, and a receipt showing she had bought more right after promising to quit. We fought, and she didn't take responsibility. She claimed her midwife told her it was better than her stressing during pregnancy, which a doctor friend confirmed is false. She said she would keep using them and would quit 5 weeks before the due date and tell me every time she took a pouch until then. During that period, she was taking at least 4 a day. She now claims she has quit 7 weeks before the due date, though I found some pouches afterward. I decided to trust her again. On to the issue now. Yesterday, we visited the hospital to see delivery rooms. The 7th floor has nice rooms with a view. The 1st floor is more basic but has better equipment for monitoring the baby. She wants the 7th floor. At a meeting with her midwife, I clarified whether anyone had said nicotine pouches were safe and wanted to ask about the risks associated with it. Since she had claimed to me that her midwife said it was safe, I wanted her to calm my nerves. The midwife said she has never said that and seemed genuinely shocked. Then my girlfriend said it was actually the ultrasound technician who said that. The midwife said hospital guidelines require her to deliver on the 1st floor if she has been using the pouches, so the baby can be properly monitored. The more specialized equipment for monitoring babies that are at risk is on the 1st floor. I agree, the baby's safety must come first. After this, my girlfriend started crying and blamed me, saying I ruined her birth plans. Of course, I didn't know that hospital protocol says she needs to deliver on the 1st floor if this is the case, so it's not like I did it on purpose. Also, knowing what I know now, I'd also prefer to have the baby there if it's safer. Anyway, my girlfriend is mad at me because I ruined her plans for delivering the baby. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments before the mini update. Not the a-hole. It's not safe to use nicotine in any form during pregnancy, and she did. And she lied about it multiple times. She ruined her own birth plans with her selfishness. The baby isn't even here yet, and your girlfriend has already put her own wants and needs above the baby's safety numerous times. I hope you're seeing this. Additionally, nicotine during pregnancy can cause premature labor, low birth weights, and health complications for the baby. Yeah, she super brought this on herself. So not the a-hole, and whatever is needed for the baby is all that matters. Right? And even now she's still breathtakingly selfish. Crying because she lost her room with a view, when they're delivering the baby on the floor that is prepared to handle any emergencies that would be caused by her selfish actions and outright lies. Even the view is more important than the child's safety? Amazing. Not the a-hole. You didn't ruin her birth plans. She ruined her birth plans by taking an addictive substance that put the baby at risk. Really shocking that she would rather have a nice view than ensure her baby is safe. She's completely irresponsible. Also, what the hell in the first place? Who is concerned with a view from their hospital room right after giving birth? Especially when weighed against better care for the baby. Some clarification and update. I see a lot of people mentioning nicotine patches, but what my girlfriend was using were nicotine pouches, snus. These aren't just for quitting smoking, though some use them that way. She's not a smoker. Nicotine pouches are very popular in Scandinavia. They're small pouches you place between the lip and gums, and they deliver very high doses of nicotine. They give a mix of pleasurable and painful sensation and can be extremely addictive. If you're unfamiliar, Google snooze to see what I mean. Here's the situation. She's been ignoring my texts and still hasn't come home. She's angry with me. I went to where she's staying now and managed to have a short conversation with her before she slammed the door in front of my face. She said things like, "I know what I did was not great," referring to using the pouches. The baby is fine. I already quit, which she can't actually know. She used them for at least 5 to 6 months during the pregnancy. You took my today's midwife meeting hostage and villainized me. But all I did was ask a single question after the midwife asked if I had any. I said, my girlfriend told me a midwife or doctor once said it was fine for her to keep using snus. Is that actually ethical to tell a pregnant woman? The midwife today said it sounded like BS, and she doubted anyone at the hospital would encourage nicotine pouch use in pregnancy. The truth is, I do feel like my girlfriend is acting like a villain here. As harsh as that sounds, she's harming our baby and dismissing the risks, while also lying to me. Some people suggested I should track down the midwife or doctor who supposedly told her it was fine. I asked my girlfriend for the name, but she claims she doesn't remember. Then I asked if she could at least check her texts or calendar for the date or time of that appointment. Appointments are always sent out by SMS. She says she never got a message and didn't put it in her calendar, which I just don't believe. I will try and dig around, also call the hospital to see if I can find the person myself and double-check her statement. Needless to say, she's showing zero accountability. And to the people saying I made the wrong choice getting this person pregnant, yeah, I actually agree. Up until this, she's been great. This whole snooze situation is a completely new side of her I hadn't seen before. Sure, there have been a few red flags in the past, but they weren't frequent and not the giant deal-breaker type. She can definitely be stubborn, though. If I wasn't expecting a baby with her, I'd honestly leave. The lying and putting her own needs above our kid is a huge deal-breaker for me. But right now I feel like leaving would also be doing a disservice to my son. She's already given him a less than optimal start to life. But if we split and become single parents right away, then I'm also contributing to a less stable future for him. So I'm stuck in this position of feeling betrayed and angry, while also feeling like I need to at least wait and see how she is after the baby's born before making any major decisions. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad I wouldn't talk to his wife or her kids again if they divorced or he died? My parents got divorced years ago. Dad was my primary parent and I, 17 male, saw mom on weekends. Then she moved to Florida without telling us, and we found out when I went to her place and someone else was living there. She didn't leave a forwarding address or anything, and when Dad called and texted her, she replied once, telling us to leave her alone. I was 12. The next year, my dad married his girlfriend of 3 years, and they bought a house together. All of us moved in, including her 3 kids. I was fine with that, but it wasn't like I was suddenly, a new mom or a stepmom. I know legally that's what she would be described as, but to me she was just Dad's wife. Her kids were Dad's stepkids, his wife's kids. I'm okay with them, but not close, and I don't feel anything toward them. I don't try to spend time with them unless Dad makes me. That's something that bothers Dad. He wanted me to willingly spend time with them and bond with them, and he was hoping I'd offer to babysit occasionally without being asked. He told me I should, and I told him don't call the kids my siblings and then we'll talk. That led to us discussing it, and he was annoyed I had that view of them. I explained that's just always how I saw it, the same way his wife is his wife and not my new mom or parent. He mentioned how important it would be for us to have each other in the future, and I told him if he gets divorced or dies, I wouldn't talk to his wife or her kids again. He didn't expect me to say that and kept asking, "Really? Really?" And I was like, yeah. I said I wouldn't see a reason to keep in touch, and I only have anything to do with them now because of him. His wife heard me say the last parts, and she was like, "What the heck? How dare you?" Dad went to calm her down, but I could see he didn't know what to say to me. She said that was a crappy attitude to have. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Not a single bit of this has anything to do with you, your wants, or your feelings. It has to do with your dad wanting a happy family with his wife and a babysitter for the other kids. He wants his wife to be your mom because bio mom stinks. He wants you to love everyone because then he doesn't have to deal with it if you don't. I'm sure his wife is upset because you won't just fall in line, and your dad wants to make her happy. That's not on you to do, and it's not on you to take care of his stepkids, even occasionally. Because that will turn into, "But they miss you. The kids want to do XYZ with you. Why won't you be a good big brother and watch them, so mom and dad can have a date night? We need a break." No is a complete sentence, and you are close enough to 18 that you can tell them all to kick rocks soon, if you so choose. Everyone needs to respect your choices, even if they don't like them. Facts. Too many parents try to force that one big happy family thing without realizing it just pushes kids further away. Cruelty. This is the reality for many blended families. The adults find their partners and build a new family, but the children's sense of security and belonging gradually slips away. Not the a-hole. How dare you? What does she honestly expect? I am pretty sure you don't call her mom, nor show her that you feel any other way from what you said. Why would anyone assume that their partner's kids from a previous relationship would keep in touch with them in the event of divorce or death, unless they had a very close relationship? Even if you like to step-parent, a divorce is a divorce, unless you have an exceptionally close relationship. I have multiple ex-steps, great American family way. For the most part, I liked my step-parents, but they were my parents' current partners, and their kids were their kids. When divorces happened, it was okay. That door shut. Life moves on. Your dad and his wife should be mature enough to understand how it works. You do. I blame the Brady Bunch. It set up unrealistic expectations of step-families. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she's not on the anniversary gift for our parents after she bailed on paying her half? My sister and I had a massive fight over the phone earlier, and now I'm sitting here questioning if I've just completely ruined our relationship. It's our parents' 40th wedding anniversary next month. It's a huge deal, so I wanted to get them something really special. I found a lovely weekend getaway for them at a hotel and spa in the Cotswolds that they've always wanted to go to. It was about £600 for the whole package. I messaged my younger sister Sarah with a link to the hotel and the price. Her exact text back was, "OMG, yes, that's a perfect idea. I'm totally in for half." So great. I thought we were on the same page. I'm generally the more organized one, so I went ahead, booked it to get a good rate, and paid the full amount on my credit card. I sent her the booking confirmation and said her half was £300 whenever she was ready. That was 3 weeks ago. I've sent her a couple of polite reminders since then and just got vague excuses like, "So sorry, been a mad week," and "We'll sort it on payday, promise." The anniversary is getting pretty close now and I needed to pay off the credit card bill. I called her this afternoon to properly ask what was going on. She was really evasive at first and then finally admitted that she can't really swing the full 300 pounds right now. She said she thought I was just spitballing ideas and didn't think I'd go and book it without checking with her again. She then offered to chip in 50 pounds or maybe 100 pounds towards it. I was so angry. I told her that wasn't the deal she agreed to in her text. I said I'm not going to be left holding the bag for a gift she committed to. This is where I think I might be the a-hole. I got really heated and said, "Fine, if you can't pay your half, then the gift is just from me. I'll write the card, it'll have my name on it, and you can get them your own 50-pound gift." She completely lost it. She was crying and yelling that I'm a materialistic a-hole who cares more about money than family, and that I was threatening to make her look like a bad daughter to our parents. She said I always do this and wave my better job in her face. She hung up on me and now I feel sick to my stomach. On one hand, she bailed on a clear agreement and left me 300 pounds out of pocket. On the other, I basically threatened to exclude her from our parents' 40th anniversary gift over money. It feels really ugly. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Don't put her name on the gift she had no part in putting together. You paid for it. You take the credit for it. Agree. OP thought of the idea, researched it, found it, put it together, and paid for it. Sister did nothing. It isn't sister's gift to give, all or in part. Okay, I did this for years. Mom's 50th birthday. I bought decorations, decorated my house, bought cake, did food, lots of it, bought the gift. My sister turned up 10 minutes before, didn't contribute to anything. Christmases were the same for my mom and other dad, stepdad. It was constant, but every time they thanked both of us, as her name was always on everything. One Christmas, I couldn't find anything for our first dad. Asked if I could split hers and pay half. Her reaction was no. I never ever bought a present between us again. You are not the a-hole. Don't let yourself get taken advantage of or guilt-tripped. You sat and thought about what to get them, included her, did all of the hard work, and she can't be bothered to pay? Give the gift from you.